Hi, I'm Nikki from Find Me Crafting. If you have ever tried to crochet a stuffed animal, or as we call them in the crochet world, amigurumi, then you know the pain of trying to turn something like this random pile of body parts into something cute, adorable, and usable like this. Then I have got the absolute best crochet hack for you. The best way to sew amigurumi / stuffy parts together without hating your life while you're doing it are knitting needles. The way to use them is to position the arms or the legs or the ears wherever you want them to be on the body, and then hold them in place by inserting the knitting needle through the end of whichever body part you're attaching and into the body. It will hold them in place and make sewing so much easier. Now, while regular knitting needles will definitely get the job done, and if you take nothing else from this video, please give it a try. But I'm going to show you a simple way to make these amigurumi sticks even more fun. You can add silicone beads, lots of color, lots of options, super cute, or kick it up a notch and attach some Disney Doorables. Yep, same great usefulness, but now we've added some Disney fun, colorful flair to it. This is a really simple, fast project. You can make these in just minutes, and I'm telling you, they're gonna make you smile. Once you've made some for yourself, you're definitely gonna wanna give these away to all the crocheters in your life. And I have a free printable instruction card you can use to give them away so that your gift recipient knows exactly how to use them and exactly how they're going to change their life. If you enjoy this content, please thumb it up and don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any new patterns or projects. Here's what you're going to need for supplies. You of course are going to need some knitting needles. These are double pointed. They have points at both ends. I like this particular size. I think it is wide enough to hold body parts and limbs in place, but not so wide that it's going to stretch out sections of my crochet. This is 4.8 millimeters in diameter, and they are just a little bit less than 10 inches long. If you were giving these away, typically you would want to give them in at least sets of 2, because when you're placing, say, the arms on an amigurumi, you want to be able to hold both sides in place so that you know they're even and steady. So at least 2 is a great way to gift these. You're going to need some beads. We want to use silicone beads because they kind of hug the knitting needle. They're not going to slide up and down or fall off. I have just a plethora of different sizes and shapes, and these that look like little Mickey Mouse heads. You can find just all kinds of silicone beads at craft stores and on Amazon. You are going to need a glue. Now, because we're using silicone, this is the only kind of glue I have found that works with silicone. It's JB Weld Super Weld Extreme. Everything else would dry, but then not hold beads in place. They would just pop right back off. This stuff holds them and holds them like permanently. I recommend having some masking tape or blue painter's tape. We're just going to use this so we can position our beads correctly. And if you're going to add a Disney Doorable, you will of course need the Disney Doorable or some other figurine that you're going to put on the end. You're also going to need a hand drill. This comes with 10 different bits, this particular one, and it is very, very easy to use and one of my new favorite tools. I do recommend having some kind of non-stick mat or drop cloth beneath where you're going to be working, because if you get any of this glue on there, it's just never coming off. And if you'd like the free printable to make these easy to give away, you'll find a link down in the description box. The next bit is the fun part. You get to decide what beads you're going to put in what order and what color you're using, and this is the creative fun part. I like to lay out what I think I'm gonna like, and then I'm gonna test them out by putting them onto a knitting needle. You do have to force these down. That's part of what makes them stick. It's a little bit tight. And you wanna make sure that your last bead is going to cover the tip, but it's not gonna be sticking out. So I wanna get rid of this gap here. I'm gonna squeeze these up. Once I have a set that I think I like, I'm going to use just a piece of masking tape to mark off exactly where this first bead needs to stop, because I want to make sure once I jam it down onto this knitting needle covered in glue that I'm going to have it all arranged and spaced properly, especially so that I have this top point on the knitting needle covered. And once I do that, I can remove the beads I put on. And now it's time to add some glue. Keep in mind, you're going to want to use this in a well-ventilated space because the fumes from this are no joke. This is some serious heavy-duty glue. So on my first bead, I'm just going to squeeze some glue into that, both ends of the hole probably, just make sure I have some glue on it. I'm going to slide it down my knitting needle and down to where I've marked off with my tape. Then you just need to repeat that process for the rest of your beads. So just apply some glue to the inside. Try not to get it on your fingers because your fingers will stick together. I promise. I've done it. It's not a good time. Push it down to meet the next one. Just repeat until you have this tip covered in beads. I recommend having some baby wipes handy because when you get glue on your fingers or somewhere you don't want it, and that's not an if, it's a when, this makes it a little bit easier to clean them up. Now that I have my beads where I think I want them, you can remove the tape. All you have left to do at this point is wait. The instructions from the glue say that it will cure in 24 hours. So you're gonna wanna give it about 24 hours to dry. Once it's dry, the only other thing that you wanna add is a larger bead down at the other end, kind of as a protector so that it covers the end of this needle, but you would remove that bead. So you don't want to glue it, you just want to be able to remove it when you're ready to use the sticks themselves. So now you would obviously repeat that process for a second stick if you were giving it away or using it yourself. I like to coordinate my beads so that the two sticks kind of match, but that's just my personal preference. There are no rules here. You can do whatever you like. If you just wanted to add silicone beads, that's the entire process. You can package these up, include one of the instruction cards, you're good to go, you're done. If, however, you want to add a Disney Doorable to the end, then there is just one additional step. All we need to do to get the Doorables ready to glue on the ends is just to make the hole in the bottom just a little bit wider and a little bit deeper so it'll stay on the knitting needles. To get your hand drill ready to use, you're going to grab your 2.2 millimeter bit and you need to open this opening here at the other end so that it's wide enough to put the bit in. So you turn that counterclockwise and this will open up. You slide your bit in and then turn it clockwise to tighten it down. And then once you've got it pretty tight, you can use both hands to tighten it and it's ready for use. Now all you need to do is flip over your Doorable, insert into the hole, and now while holding with your non-dominant hand, for me that's my left, you're going to use the dominant hand and just twist and push, twist and push, twist and push. And that is it. It really doesn't require much force. The drill does all of the work for you. I just drill in just a little bit so that I know it's going to be pretty secure when I stick my knitting needle in. You can see all the rubber that I removed here. I'm going to clean that out a little bit by going back in. And then I like to test it out on a knitting needle. Just slide it down, see if I feel like that's far enough in. That's not far enough for me, so I'm going to go again and just go a little bit deeper so that I can slide him farther onto the knitting needle. If I mark off where he's got about this much inserted. I could go a little bit deeper, but this will probably work, especially with this heavy duty glue. The next bit, which is just deciding which beads you're going to use, is the hardest part. I'm telling you, there's so many options and it's so fun. The only difference here is that I am going to be placing the Doorable at the top versus another bead. You would glue it on the exact same way you glued on the beads for just a regular beaded stick. Test everything out. You can see I have a bit of a gap there, so I'm going to push the beads up, close my gap so that when I get my beads on, I know they're all going to fit the way I want. Mark that off with my tape. And it's time to go in with the glue. And then this guy is ready to wait the 24 hours to dry. I will be putting the little stopper down at the other end. So that's it. He would be done. You can make a million of these. You're going to want to make a million of these because they are so ridiculously fun. I will say I tend to only use about 3 to 4 beads total because I want there to be plenty of working space here to actually use this, to stick it into the arms and into the body of the amigurumi to hold it in place. These amigurumi sticks have been a game changer for me, and now I enjoy crocheting stuffed animals even more. Plus, who doesn't love a little Disney magic in pretty much everything? Happy crafting!